Mark, we're going to be discussing the recent trip by President Trump to the Gulf. It was the first state visit of his second term, very much like the first state visit of his first term, where his initial trip abroad was to Saudi Arabia. With his visit there and in Qatar and in the United Arab Emirates, the president's focus was on deal making, lining up and announcing multi-billion-dollar investments in the United States, purchases of U.S. weapons, especially U.S. products, a range of products, especially weapons. The deals that were announced were large and exciting, but there were deals that were not announced and that maybe were not moved forward, although we'll have to wait and see. There was not an announcement about the Iran deal that his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, has been working on to negotiate an end to the nuclear threat posed by Iran. And there was not an announcement that we were hoping might happen regarding advancing the Abraham Accords with further steps to normalize relations with Israel from Arab states. AJC had been hoping for progress on both fronts, but then again, we need to learn more about what actually happened behind the scenes. There were many discussions that were taking place. The consultations that the president had with GCC leaders and others from Syria and Lebanon, elsewhere in the Arab world, might be leading to other progress that we'll learn about in the coming days. But let's dig into this. What were you expecting from the president's trip, and did the president's visit meet your expectations?
Thank you, Jason, and it's great to join you here and to be on this new media platform. I welcome this opportunity. The view here is that this was a very successful visit. I think all three of the Gulf countries that he visited offered very enthusiastic welcomes. You're absolutely right. The art of the deal, the business arrangements were front and center. Certainly some advanced weaponry, but Boeing landed I think, world record contract for sales in Qatar to Qatar Air with GE engines. And so that was a large commercial deal. And in the UAE, there was this announcement of an enormous artificial intelligence college or compound that will be jointly Emirati and American, and will have branches, as I understand it, in the United States as well. So that's another very significant economic or commercial or technology development that should have a lasting impact on the cooperation between the United States and the Gulf, but also, I think, from the president's perspective, hopefully on the American economy, along with the Boeing deal in Qatar. In Saudi Arabia, in his initial speech at the U.S.-Saudi Business Conference, he did state very clearly, with the Crown Prince in the front row, that he was hoping to see a normalization of relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia, and that this is something very important to him. But he also, and that he believed would be good for all concerned. But he also said that he, acknowledging that the timing isn't quite right yet, that he told the Saudi leader that this will happen in your own time, or when you think it is the right time to do it. So I think that was an important acknowledgement of the reality of the situation right now. Iran, the nuclear negotiations were mentioned. I think at the GCC, he reiterated the U.S. position that Iran should should not have an enrichment capacity once an agreement is reached, that he hopes to see an agreement, but that there is obviously a lot of work that remains to be done, and we're not there yet. And I'm sure there was a lot of discussion of Gaza behind the scenes, but it didn't seem to be too prominently discussed in public statements. I noticed that he did sketch out what seems to be the emerging consensus position of the United States, Israel, and at least parts of the Arab world, that Hamas must disarm, that its remaining leadership elements should leave Gaza, and that all of the hostages must be released. That was very, I think, significant also that he stated that publicly.